Hello, welcome to my channel, and if you're new here, my name is Erica and I'm here with another booktube video for you today. So this video is going to be my June wrap-up. I kept it short and simple this month, only reading 4 books. My March wrap-up, if you haven't seen that, it's on my channel. I ended up reading 7 books, but for this month I was busy with work and books are expensive, so I limited myself to 4 books and I loved every single one of them. So without wasting any more time, let's just get right on into the first book. So the first book that I picked up this month was November 9 by Colleen Hoover, and if you watched my March wrap-up video, you would have known that I read her book Ugly Love and fell in love with it and her as an author, so I had to check out more of her books, and I heard a lot of great things about November 9, and all of those things were correct. I was in love with this book as I read it, and it's definitely made it onto my favorite books of this year that I've read so far list, so let me tell you a little bit about it. So it's in the point of view of the character Fallon, and she meets Ben one day when she's out for lunch with her dad, and her dad says some really mean things to her that Ben overhears, and he kind of wants to stand up for her, so he pretends to be her boyfriend, and right off the bat they get along together perfectly, but the only issue is that she is leaving the next day. She's moving, so they get along so well together that they decide to meet up every year at the same place, same time on November 9th without any communication in between that. So with not having any communication in between, they actually give each other some tasks to complete throughout the year so that they can report back to each other to see if they actually completed them and just to see if their connection is really as strong as they think it is when they meet up every year. Now, I wasn't too sure about the time jump. I'm not usually a huge fan of time jumps just because I feel like you miss a lot of important information, but with this one, I liked it. So the reason that I liked it was because it was kind of like suspenseful and you didn't know what happened throughout the year until you got to the next November 9th, and that's when you found out everything that happened. And the way it was written actually was really easy to follow along, so you felt like you were still getting that connection with each of the characters, and the time jump didn't really mess that up for you. So I really did like that part about this book. So definitely a key moment for me was when they do first meet. It's so funny, the comedy that happens there and just like the connection they have right away and just how hilarious the two of them are is golden, and I love it so much. I love Ben as a character. Oh my goodness, he's the perfect book boyfriend. So you need to read this if you want to experience the perfect book boyfriend, because he's perfect and I love him so much. You find out early on that Fallon has been in an accident and she's badly burnt from a fire, and the way that Ben treats her and the nice things that he says about her to kind of just like build her confidence and tell her that she really is beautiful is just like, everyone needs a Ben in their life, okay? So that was like the highlight of this book, is the way that he talks about her or talks to her. Perfect. I love him. But like all Colleen Hoover books, there's always a plot twist, and the one in this, for some reason, I did not expect it was going to happen. It's one of those things that I probably knew should have been the thing that was going to happen, but it didn't even cross my mind, and as soon as I got to the plot twist, I was like, are you kidding me? Colleen Hoover, what are you doing to me? So the plot twist really gets you in this one if you're looking for a good twist of things. But overall, I really did enjoy this book, and you get that connection with the characters in living their separate lives as well as when they meet up every year, and you get so invested in it and you just don't really know which way it's gonna go. And like I said, the plot twist, there's a lot of things that happen, and I just really recommend this one and all of Colleen Hoover's stuff. So let's move on to the second book. So the second book I read is The Unhoneymooners by Christina Lauren, and because of this book, I am now addicted to reading rom-coms. I love this book. This one is probably at the top of my list for this month. This one was amazing, so funny. Like, oh my goodness, if you want to laugh out loud while you're reading, read this one. I laughed so many times. It's so good. I love this one. So this one is about a girl named Olive and her twin sister. Her whole life has gotten everything she's ever wanted. She's kind of like the perfect golden child, and Olive is the complete opposite. And Olive's sister is getting married, but Olive really doesn't like the husband's brother. She just does not like him from day one. They've gotten to the wrong foot of things, so she really doesn't like him, and he doesn't really like her either. So the wedding goes on, and everyone ends up getting sick except for Olive and the brother, and his name is Ethan. So unfortunately, since the honeymoon is already paid for, Olive and Ethan have to go on the trip and pretend to be her sister and the husband. So this is enemies to lovers, and they end up going on the honeymoon together and doing all the couple-like things, pretending to be a couple, and it is so funny. I love this book so much. Like I said before, the comedy is hilarious, and another part that made me laugh a lot is that there's something that happens and there's all these twists and turns that get in their way of making it so they can stay apart. They end up having to stay together the whole time, but Olive refers to a person in the book as a knockoff off-brand Daryl Dixon, and I like The Walking Dead. I watched that show, and that is a character on The Walking Dead, so I thought it was really funny because I could visualize that in my head, and she brought it up a lot of times in this book, so it was funny to me. Yeah, this book was a really easy read, and it's a good book for the summer because they're on a honeymoon, they're on a beach, they're on a vacation, so it was a really good book to read in the month of June. But I loved every single part of this book. I loved the character development between the two. I loved each of their personalities separate, and also when they would interact between each other, and just all of the little things that were getting in their way, like I said, just added to the comedy aspect of it. But the storyline and the plot itself was also really fascinating because outside of the honeymoon they both have these separate lives, and you wonder what it's going to be like once they get home for the honeymoon, and if things are going to work out, if they're not going to work out. And overall it was just a really good book. And another book boy that I really liked, Ethan. I love Ethan. Like I said, this is one of the top books I read this month. I will definitely reread this one again. That's how much I loved it, so please check this one out if you're looking for a good summer rom-com with some really good characters in there, some really good laugh out loud moments. I love this one. Okay, the next book I read was another Colleen Hoover book, and that is It Ends With Us. And I saw this one all over Book Talk. Everyone was talking about it. Everyone was telling me to read it, so I had to read it. I liked it, but I was slightly disappointed. It was still really good, don't get me wrong. I would definitely reread it. I loved the storyline and the plot, and I love her writing, but I'll let you know about that as we get into it more. So it's in the point of view of the main character, Lily, and it's when she's in the present day and she meets the boy she's in her current relationship with, Ryle. And as the book's going on, you're also getting kind of flashback scenes where she's reading her old journal entries of her very first love and everything that happened in that. So in her current life with Ryle, everything is going perfect. He is like the dream come true of a human being. But then a twist happens. You know Colleen Hoover, there's going to be a twist. So a twist happens, and I was actually shocked with this twist. Like, so dark and deep. Like, so I did not expect that at all, from just not at all. I was very shocked with the twist that happens, and it's heartbreaking, and I think that's why I didn't like it as much, because I didn't want it to be happening. Like, it's not that it was a bad book of why I disliked it. It was more of like, I didn't want whatever was going on to be going on because it was going so well, and I just didn't want it to happen. So the past relationship that we're hearing about when she was younger was with this boy named Atlas, and he and her both kind of had not really the greatest upbringings, and that's how they kind of find their connection, and he'll always have a special place in her heart because of that. And when we first got introduced to him, I was like, no, Ryle is the guy for her. Like, he is the guy, that's who she has to be with. But the more that the book progressed and you were finding out the twists and everything else, I started leaning more towards Atlas. But then other things happened, and the whole time my brain was jumping back and forth between who she was going to end up with or who I wanted her to end up with, and things happen. I'm gonna say I am satisfied with the ending of this book. I kind of wish, the thing is, let me just gather my thoughts. The thing is, I am satisfied with this, and I think she made the right decisions along the way with the circumstances that she was in. But I felt like why I also didn't like it as much as I wanted to was because I just needed more. I needed so much more. Like, I needed there to be like 10 more chapters, just kind of like to close all the storylines, and because it was kind of left open, you know, like, which is good because you can kind of visualize for yourself and you can think about the happy ending you want. But I wanted to know for sure exactly what happened, because it does have the ending you kind of want, but there's so much more that I have so many questions about who ends up where and what happens here and there. So I think that's the only thing that I didn't like about this, is because I just needed more, which technically is a good thing because that means she did her job right as a writer because I just wanted more. But that aside, I still cried. Like every Colleen Hoover book, I cry. So it was a really good book and I do recommend you read it. Just beware of some triggering topics and it gets dark. It is pretty dark at times, but that aside, it is a really, really good read. So detailed, so well thought out, and I really liked the characters other than certain twists that happen in there, but it was really, really well done, and I do still really recommend that you check this one out if you're looking for something that's going to pull on your heartstrings in many different ways. So the last book I read is The Hating Game by Sally Thorne, and this one is also a rom-com, and it is also at the top of my list for this month with The Unhoneymooners. I think this one actually beats it, not gonna lie. I thought nothing could top The Unhoneymooners, but then I read this one and I was like, okay, we have a winner right here. So this one is a workplace enemies to lovers, and it's kind of like Sunshine Girl and Serious Boy, which I really, really enjoyed. It's kind of like Sunshine Girl tries to break through to Serious Boy, and I love that. It's also going to be a movie soon, which I'm really excited about, and Lucy Hale is playing the main character, so that really helped me to be able to visualize this whole time because I was just picturing Lucy Hale and she fits this perfectly, so I'm really, really excited to check out the movie when it actually comes out. So it's in the point of view of the main character Lucy, and you discover right off the bat of how much she dislikes her work enemy Joshua, and right away, like I said, the dynamic and the relationship between the two is very just like, we're gonna pick on each other all day long and we're not gonna get along. So right off the bat, I was really intrigued to see how the relationship was gonna progress, because you already know it's a rom-com, it's gonna be, they're gonna end up together in some way. So I was really interested to see when and how that relationship progressed throughout the story, and it actually happened a lot quicker than I thought it was going to, which I liked. It didn't take too long for things to pick up the pace, and I like that because you just wanted to keep reading it and it kept you intrigued to just keep going, and I read this one so quickly because I just wanted to know what was happening next. So in the workplace, they actually have the opportunity to get a promotion, so they're both kind of competing for the same promotion, and the deal is if you get it, the other one has to resign, like they can't work there anymore because they don't want to be each other's boss. So from that point on, it kind of just like takes off from there. So at the same time of them trying to get their promotion, there's also all these workplace events that are happening, and the relationship kind of builds based on these events and the interactions that they have with each other, and you really get to see them trying to get through to each other, and more like Lucy trying to get through to Joshua. He's very closed off and seems to think that he's not this nice guy, and you later find out why. His story is so sad. I think I cried through this one too, not gonna lie, because I just felt so bad for him the whole time. I love Joshua, like I love him. I love Josh so much. I love the way this was written and the detail in it. It's a little bit steamy at times, more so than The Unhoneymooners. Just the dynamic and the tension between each other was so perfect, and you, like I said before, you just wanted to keep reading because you just wanted them to just like admit all these feelings they had for each other, and oh, I love this one so much. I will definitely be reading this one again, and it is 100% on my list of best books I've read in 2021 for sure. There's some really cute moments in this also between the two that just like make your heart flutter, and you get butterflies reading it the whole time. So I love the character dynamic. I love this book. I love the characters. I love the storyline. Just everything about it. I hope the movie lives up to it. Fingers crossed. Books are always better. There's more detail, but we shall see. But yes, I really, really recommend this one. Super easy read. Funny. So much tension. Romance. Love it. So good. So that is the end of my June wrap up. I hope you enjoyed this video. Like I said, my favorites I think are The Hating Game and The Unhoneymooners. I still really enjoy the other two as well. Colleen Hoover is still one of my favorite authors now, so I definitely have to check out the rest of her stuff. But I highly recommend you checking out at least one of these because they were really good reads. Like I said, the characters are fantastic and the storylines themselves, ooh, so good. So check these ones out. Also, if you have any other recommendations for me, I have an Amazon wish list. It's linked in the description down below if you want to add some of your favorite books, or send me your favorite books that you want me to read, and I will put them in another wrap-up video if you would like. So that is there if you want to check that out. I have some books in there already that I'm really excited to get reading. So if you like this, give it a thumbs up and comment down below if you read any of these books or if you have any suggestions for me to read. I really appreciate it, and I love reading all of your positive comments. It really warms my heart and makes me super happy, so thank you so much if you leave a comment. And if you want to follow me on my social media, I will also link that in the description down below. Thank you so much for watching. Bye!